Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your weekly tarot reading for February 28 to March the 6th. You do not want to miss this. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. That seems to be what the outer expression is, and that your inner dialogue is saying, I need to heal from this and get as far away from it as possible. This is very interesting. And for some of you, I think you're anticipating this outcome, and so you're like, you know what, forget it, I'm outie, I'm out of here. Gemini, let's get started by seeing where are you this week along the Fool's journey. Which major arcana do you embody this week? Ooh, that came out really fast. Awakening. Okay, this is in this deck, this is the Hanged Man. Okay, card number 12, Awakening. The message says, look at things from a different perspective, a temporary standstill. It's important to be yourself. And along with that, this card always carries the message for me of trusting in the process. Trusting the process and accepting certain things that may not be part of the way you envisioned things, Gemini. Okay, so that's an interesting place to find yourself this week, as sort of embodying that Hanged Man energy, where you're sort of being guided to really trust the process this week, and to allow yourself to be at a standstill so that you can adjust your perspective and look at things from a different lens, a different viewpoint, a different mindset. And all the while sort of still trusting that even if it's not going the way you imagined, that it's still moving towards your highest outcome, even if it doesn't seem that way from the way you're looking at it right now. It's an interesting time to be in this moment here as the Hanged Man. It's sort of almost just past the middle of the journey. So you've sort of gotten to a place now where you're needing to look at your experience so far to try to understand what everything has been leading to up until this point. I feel like seeing the Hanged Man here, the Awakening card, really does allow us the opportunity to have a fresh perspective on something. Now let's dive into we're going to do a Celtic cross here for Gemini. We see the Emperor in reverse and the Two of Cups coming out together. So that tells me you're restructuring, like we see in the Hanged Man here. You're being guided to shift your perspective, to look at things in a different way than you usually would, and to perhaps take yourself into that standstill position, as opposed to being a leader right now, but to just sort of be observing without any evaluation for this moment here. And seeing the Two of Cups with the Emperor, that tells me that this could be about a relationship. It could be about your relationship with yourself, or it could be about your relationship with another, and trying to look at each other almost from a different perspective, or to look at yourself in a different perspective. Seeing the Emperor makes me feel definitely that this could be, for some of you, an opportunity to look at how you're approaching yourself. How are you approaching your own path right now, especially seeing it with the Hanged Man. And so let's see what is top of mind for Gemini right now. What is top of mind for Gemini? Ooh. Knight of Swords. So some fast moving changes are top of mind, some life pattern changes. So as you're looking at experiencing, I was going to say as you're looking at making some changes, but I almost feel like you're going to be looking at experiencing some changes, that things in your external world could be shifting, and it's going to bring in some major stuff here, some things for you to really look at and to see how these changes are necessary or what they represent to you. And by by looking at things from a different perspective, I feel like you're readjusting the masculine energy, your action, your choices, your movement, the way you make decisions. I feel like that's really important this week. And as I say that, we see the Lovers and the Wheel of Fortune. Very interesting. Very interesting. This really makes me feel like right now you're needing to make some choices about a relationship. And it's not quite time yet to take action. It's time for you to look at it from a different perspective. And what is the major obstacle here for Gemini as they are trying to make this sort of decision from a point of standing still? You're really being guided here to stand still and to create something new. This is an opportunity, and it's interesting. It's coming up in the position of what's creating a challenge. And so it's almost like you have the opportunity to have a new start with a significant relationship. You've got the Two of Cups and the Lovers. So I can't help but feel like a significant relationship is going to get a second chance at being successful. But it's going to involve a shift in your perspective. It's going to involve some significant shifts around you. And it feels like it's changing how you relate to yourself as well. This is significant. This is really significant. Let's see, what are the past influences here? What are the past influences on this situation for Gemini? The Star card. So many major arcana here. And you know, Gemini, the Lovers card, that represents you in tarot. So I can't help but feel like there is significant energy around your inner environment here. And seeing the Star card for me in the past here, that suggests that you know, you came from a situation that was difficult. And you had faith in yourself to bring you to where you are now. And I feel like we're seeing that because you're being invited on this journey. Almost you're now taking the next leg of this journey. And right now you're at the Hanged Man. So you're sort of in that pit stop on the journey where it's now time to look at how important is this situation moving forward. How important is it for you to maintain the same level of authority or the same level of leadership, the same level of control in this dynamic? And it almost feels like this situation needs a fresh start when I see this Page of Pentacles. I feel like this is an opportunity for you to revisit something in a new landscape, really looking at making a fresh start in love. This feels like it's about love. What are the future influences for Gemini? Oh my goodness, the Nine of Swords. That's interesting. This is a situation that's causing a lot of stress, or it will be in the future. That's maybe why you're being invited to look at this from a new perspective. Is this something that still resonates with you? Will it be something that still resonates for you in the future? Seeing the Wheel of Fortune here with the Lovers, I can't help but think that you need to make a choice, but that you need to make a choice after you've reflected on this scenario from a different perspective. And that if it's going to go ahead, it feels like it needs a new beginning, because hanging on to the past is creating this sort of feeling in the future of being trapped and feeling a lot of anxiety about, you know, a lack of certainty, a lack of trust, a lack of faith. So it's going to be important to either adjust things or just take a minute to have a look at it from another perspective to see if this is still what you want. I think it was what you wanted in the past, but it almost feels like something has shifted here, and it's continuing to shift. And I feel like the shift of this whole dynamic is what's on your mind mostly right now, Gemini. You're really focused on how this situation has changed. Let's see, what's the inner dialogue in the present moment right now for Gemini? It's the Six of Swords. Yeah, I think a part of you is trying to decide whether or not it's time to move on. You're trying to decide, should this be a fresh start, or should I just get distance from this and move on completely? Move on physically, move on mentally, getting away from something, letting it go, healing, recovering, really, really trying to heal. This situation seems to be one that was a dream in the past. It's almost like you came out of a difficult situation and you were like manifesting this situation, and now this situation is proving to be very challenging, and it's almost like you're back where you started again. That's very interesting, Gemini. Could this be a situation where you've sort of gone round and round and you're just back where you've started again with this person? And it's almost like seeing the Wheel of Fortune here makes me think that you're looping. You're looping and looping and looping. And it's sort of like you've looped to the place now where you're the Hanged Man, and you're being guided to stand still, to have a look at this, to see, is this still what you want? Does this still resonate for you? And I'm sort of feeling like you need to make that evaluation this week. That's the guidance here. What's the external sort of, oh my goodness, the external embodiment of you is the Fool. You're being guided to take a new journey. Isn't that interesting? This is a fresh start, but I don't know if it's a fresh start with this person. That's going to have to be something you weigh out for yourself as you're listening to this reading. And, don't force anything. Take it as it resonates. But it does feel like the outer expression of yourself is saying, I'm moving on. I'm moving on. That seems to be what the outer expression is. And that your inner dialogue is saying, I need to heal from this and get as far away from it as possible. This is very interesting. And for some of you, I think you're anticipating this outcome. And so you're like, you know what? Forget it. I'm outie. I'm out of here. That's very interesting. Let's see what is the sort of the hopes and the fears. Yeah, you've been carrying this burden for a long time. I think you're ready for closure, but you're, a little resistant to it too, because closure means that this is over. And so this is why I think we're seeing the Hanged Man. Take a beat and have a look at this from a different perspective. Do you need to move on? Do you need a fresh start on your own? Or is this something that you can have a fresh start within this situation? That's going to be up to you, and that's going to be different for all of you probably, because energy is so fluid that, in a general reading, it's the overall guidance to look at here. And the overall guidance is that something in Gemini's timeline has shifted. And now it's time to make a choice about whether or not to start over with a blank slate again. And it kind of feels like this is more than once that you've been down this path. Or is it time to take a new path entirely with this Fool card and to get distance from the past? Very interesting. It's very interesting. The Hanged Man and the Fool are two very interesting archetypes. One has this sort of recklessness, this leap of faith attitude that can be seen sometimes as being risky or reckless, but it's almost like such a naive, beautiful blank slate that says, I'm off to discover myself again. And this time I'm starting from the beginning. I'm not going to start over in something again and again and again. It's like this desire to lay down your burdens and truly start a new adventure, going from, I love that, going from 10 wands just to one, enough to hold your stuff in that little pouch, and maybe a wand to balance your footing, but that's it. You're ready to lay down your burdens. You're ready to set them down, and it may involve ending a relationship, or at the very least looking at a relationship from a new lens. And then look at what we see here is the 10 of Cups. You're moving towards emotional fulfillment, and it's going to have to be a choice. Are you going to be able to be emotionally fulfilled in the relationship that keeps looping? Or is this a new relationship? And we see the World card in reverse on the bottom of the deck. Gemini, that confirms it for me. I can't help but feel that you're at the end of a cycle, and you're not convinced it's the end yet. But a part of you, the intuitive part of you, may sort of still feel like you could give this another chance. But I can't help but think that the logical part of you is thinking, no, we need to get distance from this. We've been holding on to this for too long already, and it's time to lay it down and start a brand new cycle. That's what it feels like. The guidance is saying it's time for you to seek out your true emotional fulfillment, and it's going to come about by starting on a new pathway, a new pathway. It's just, it wasn't, this doesn't feel like it serves you anymore. And I feel like this new beginning is what's creating a challenge. It's creating a challenge in this dynamic. It's creating a challenge in this dynamic, but it's not the overall challenge. The overall challenge will be whether or not you can look at this from a new perspective, and whether or not you can sort of look at things to see does it still resonate with me? And am I being authentic by continuing to go round and round? Who am I serving here? Wow, very interesting. I'm going to leave it at that for you, Gemini. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to share this video if it has resonated with you and you'd like to see more. I hope to see you all again very soon for another reading. Sending you so much love and light, Gemini.